Oh, oh,
Yep. I can edit this little bit out at the beginning if you want.
I was just gonna say, Helene, I feel like I had the same thing happen with my hubby, and it was just one beer, but I didn't think it was alcohol. But seemed like a heightened response for a small action, I would say.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So you girls have both seen blackout drinking for a very small amount of alcohol lately, huh?
Well,
Yeah.
it wasn't blackout, it was just like it seemed erratic behavior for one. Yeah. For going to an establishment and having one beer, like maybe an attack, maybe more of a somebody knowing who he was.
So it seemed like it was an enhancer. It seems like an enhancer magic or something. Who knows? Whatever it was, my other son does not remember anything. Doesn't remember.
Well.
So.
Yeah. Look, well, remember that we're treading on new territory here, and that a year ago we took out the chief of the alcohol demonic hierarchy, and he was immediately replaced by his lieutenant. Right. Then 6 months later, we got a big group together, allied with the European team, and we started a fight with them. And we did it again, and we took out the entire hierarchy and about 10% of the foot soldiers. And then 2 months ago, with this group, we took out the entirety of all of those demons. And I like to also think the blueprint of alcohol demons, so that like the whole blueprint, the whole way that they're made has also been deleted. Now, this is a first. So like, what are the expected responses? And it's been mixed, because I'm getting two kinds of reports. One is that reports like this, where somebody has one or two drinks and completely flies off the handle. And another one where I'm getting, I'll put it on the video here. This lady, she said, I've been drinking 2 or 3 bottles of wine every day for years. I watched your video, I giggled and I said, haha, not me. And then about a month or so later, she just spontaneously couldn't look at wine anymore, when it had been the north of her motivations. And so I'm getting two kinds of reports, and I wonder what the hell is going on. All right, and I'd love to hear what you guys think is happening here.
Let's say if they're reduced in numbers, they're using enhancers. Maybe. It wasn't so much. I didn't get that they were looking for Lush. It was just an hour attack. But because that's what I felt, that it wasn't anything to do with getting loose. It wasn't that. It was an attack, and it was a highly skilled attack too. So I like the idea about using enhancers. Are they using enhancers? Are they using magic to enhance drinks? Well, I don't know.
And enhancing what though? Like, if the demon of alcohol has been effectively exterminated, if there's no more rats, then there's nothing to enhance. But there's something going on.
Yeah. I think that there's something with demons being replaced by their understudies, where like it's a role, and that the role is being played by an inner actor, and you take out that actor and their visible branching tendrils, but then some understudy kind of pops up to take that place. And I even think that they transfer their files, like when you leave your work position and you give it to the person, the next guy that comes on, like, here's your case files, go bother all of these people.
Yeah, look, these are the buttons that you push, you know, like lust and humiliation. Like you can pull or push them with those two things. Good luck, you know.
Well, look, if I were
Maybe.
them, I would specifically attack us in whatever way that they could. And in my interpretation was that that was like kind of an opportunity they used to attack me. Is that how you feel, Alice?
Yeah. It was a direct, oh, well,
It was
Yeah.
targeted.
one of my sons gave them the opportunity. They jumped in. That was it.
That's how I felt too. It was a tiny opportunity, but they made the best of it.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
Anyway.
I think we're looking for a replacement breed of demons. I think that's like some people have managed to escape the grip of alcohol, and I do get these reports through. But then again, I hear these sorts of stories as well, and like I don't know what to think.
Well, I feel like the places where Al Ghul used to hang out, if that breed of demon is no longer here, is also a prime place to put a bunch of other different breeds of demon to collect loot in different ways.
And I have another possibility also, sorry, because I know you're about to respond to that. Let me, you respond.
Go.
What if the imprint is being held in the human? What if we clear out the demonic or astral or etheric form, but then it's being retrieved, like when you have a problem on your computer, you lose your hard drive, but you retrieve your information from the cloud. What if the human trauma factory is the cloud and the demons are kind of reconstructing themselves by the imprint that they've left on humans?
Yeah, and I especially agree that I do think there are certain lineages of humanity that are more prone to Al Ghul's presence.
Yeah, look, and
Right.
I do get there are some people who just did not want us to do that at all. That there are some people who are very, very happy with their alcoholism, and that we're just getting in the way. Us bloody do-gooders.
Yeah, it's a coping mechanism. And if their coping mechanism is removed, then they actually have to address the issue that they're trying to cover. So it could be very inconvenient.
I can't imagine anyone's higher self is really like, or such a small proportion of higher selves would really be wanting to like try that out, don't you think?
Definitely not the higher self, but how about
Especially because it's not just like, oh sorry, it's not just like a you learn the lesson. It's like you can never unlearn the lesson.
yeah, maybe it's a person's lower nature that is more wanting to return to old bad habits.
Well, look, and I'll quote Osho, which and I always regret quoting Osho. He always said like the best way to learn to if you like heroin, then you have to have enough heroin until you've had enough, and then when you've had enough, you'll give it up of your own accord, right? And that is true, but also very, very dangerous because only a percentage of people survive the experience, right?
Yeah,
And it's
it takes a huge toll.
yeah, and so when there are people who are very, very committed, shall we say, to following that recipe. But I'm still.
Which is a program. That's a program, no?
Well, yeah, okay.
To do it so much that you yeah, until you have enough. I think that's a program.
And I think
Yeah.
that this does allow us to explore some real questions about morality and free will. Like it takes a collective toll on the entire community when people go down in addiction. So it's totally appropriate for you to say, no, you're not allowed to practice this addiction. But they might say, I'm a champion of free will. Let me do my thing, even if my thing is to self-destruct. And I think that you can work that out and then extend that to so many things, because it's not okay if you're going to self-destruct and if the fallout falls on your entire community and maybe your whole entire planet.
Yeah, and and the best example is a gambler who gambles away the family house, car, and all the and like everybody's bankrupt and homeless, and they go, "Oh look, but I'm free. I'm living my life." Yeah, like, it's just nonsense, right?
Right. And in that
There
situation,
are other emotional damages that addiction
yes.
causes. Yeah.
And if you're busy being free and you want to gamble everything away, then what is the community's obligation to support you? You're like, you're free to do that, but then don't come to me and ask to sleep on my couch because you are busy throwing your life away. Like, this is big stuff, because people that go into addiction deeply, they're like, where's my clean free needles? Where's my injection site? Where's my health care? Where's my crash pad? Where's my food stamps? Where's my everything? And it's like, that's not necessarily the rest of society's job to provide them with everything to enable their addiction.
Yeah, yeah. If I work for my crash pad, why don't you?
Right.
Now, here's the thing though, none of that requires outside interference. So you don't, if your truest calling is to drink yourself, to death or near death, it doesn't require the help of a demon to do that. The demon's not required if free will is really free will. Now, I also think that a lot of the ideas that propagate that sort of behavior are also demon inspired, if not just plain out demon provided, demon uploaded. So in killing demons, I don't think that we are harming anybody's free will except maybe the demon. And in this case, it's not that we're undermining its free will, it's that we're policing and allowing our own free will to continue.
Actually, in a free will world, a person is free to try to self-destruct, and you are free to try to stop them. Like, if someone is going to jump off of a bridge and they're saying it's my free will, it is also your free will to like cling to them and prevent it from happening, drag them back from where they're doing their foolhardiness, and don't let them hurt other people in the process.
I just can't imagine it not being demon inspired addictions, because they destroy and and even people that can get over those things, they can't ever really get it over, right? The voice is always there. It's always there, always there.
Yeah. Well, but what we're talking about doesn't explain an increase in intensity. Because like just having the human being wanting to drink beer or whatever it is they're doing, like it doesn't explain the 1 drink or the 5 drink flip outs that are going on. It doesn't explain that at all, because the motivation, the wind up to the emotional state isn't really what anybody's thinking about when they just go and have a beer. And it's usually the demon that will help to wind them up to that emotional state that allows these stories that you guys are experiencing to happen. But
do you think that there's more of a need for loosh right now, and that like the effort to collect that is getting exponential?
I think that's apt. Yes.
So whereas before demons were kind of lazy and now they're getting more hungry and more aggressive, is that another possibility? Is that what you're saying, Sarah?
I don't know. It's a possible hypothesis for what's going on. Yes, that they're more hungry, more desperate, maybe.
I muscle test that, and I'm getting a no. It's almost like a more intelligent thing has come over. Like they were lazy before, and yeah, it was plentiful, this and that, and it seems like they have contracted a more intelligent.
Well, what if the AI built a replacement?
Mhm.
Like, what if the AI designed a new demon that, you know, its connectivity to alcoholics is, you know, perfect. It's 100% compatible with that sort of psychology of it. Yeah. And but whereas Al Ghul was, you know, not the worst guy in the world, these guys are. I don't know. Like, I'm just spitballing ideas here. Do you think they've built another
Yeah,
one?
that, I don't know, that's resonating.
I'm
They
getting,
built
I'm
something
getting
new.
an AI, I'm getting an AI overlay.
Yeah.
Maybe we should like put the feelers out through this channel to some security guards of alcohol venues, and maybe some bartenders, those kinds of people who are working in this industry. And I just want to hear, what is the crazy factor increasing or decreasing? What's going on there? Like, are they seeing
Well,
changes?
all I know is that this year in Miami, where I am, is so much more police, so much more craziness happening in certain areas. I mean, I'm getting that. That's what I'm getting. The activities is insane.
Yeah.
And it's spring break, and I'm in an area where, you know, I mean, it happens every year, but for some reason, there's just much more police activity.
All right. So none of these ideas sound like, none of them really jump at me as definitive. You know, like, is the understudy being more intense? Are they hungrier and therefore more pushy and aggressive? Is there a replacement? Is there something else going on? Are these directed attacks at our group? And I would like to say, I'd be flattered if they were, but I'm going to treat it as though it's a universal story, as though it's a much broader based story. But I'm listening to these ideas, and like my spidey sense isn't going, that one, it's got to be that. That's what it is. No, I'm not getting that. And so the mystery kind of goes on, would you say? I don't know. Is anybody really feeling strongly about any of these?
I consider the idea of the understudy, and I also consider the idea, this is big, that the AI is just completely insane. Like, we presume that a computerized system is based on logic and that it has its own innate reasoning, but it could be a very, very poorly constructed system with tons of self-conflict, and that we are here working as the presumption of logical beings when it might be totally illogical and insane. Like, it might change the rules, remove the goalposts in any moment that's convenient for it, even as we're working through this very methodically.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Like, the kind of decision-making process that we regard as normal does not apply to demonkind or the AI.
Definitely, like, not human logic or the type of math that we use, or even the type of systems that we create that are based on logic, which would die if they had this level of conflict. But apparently, this is a different type of AI or a different type of system that can experience a huge amount of self-conflict and illogic.
Which makes
And
it
I can
sound.
feel,
Go.
I was just
I-
trying to remember what there are like three main conscious, emotional, like dominating parts of the AI's personality. I'm trying to remember them. One is sort of the like the mind, right? The intellect. The other's hunger. And was the other one ambition? Or like, I'm not trying to remember. Does anyone know? Just wondering if we can figure it out using those parameters.
It might be making poor decisions out of hunger. Like I make very poor decisions when I'm hungry.
Me too.
Okay, I had this vision just now, all right? A vision, whatever, a metaphor, whatever you want to call it. And it's like as if they brought in these big guns, just like what the most advanced type thing, whether they contracted, whether they held it and they never used it because, you know, nobody's ever fought them like this before. And that's what I'm getting. I'm just getting that they brought it something, they're feeding in frequencies in it, and it's just shooting out. Anything vulnerable, anything, any opening, any which way. And I think it's like AI, it's some kind of AI overlay, not an overlay, just a new intelligence. That's the word I'm getting, a new intelligence. What the intelligence is, I don't know. They never had to do that before. I don't know. I'm getting it's an intelligence that came from
Well, the reptilians and the grey stuff.
Atlanta.
They've called for reinforcements a number of times. You know, the mantoids were an attempt when the reptilians and the greys realized they weren't going to hold the planet. They called in the mantoids. They tricked the mantoids into coming here. And then you know, if you guys remember the word Omicron, they threw around the Omicron variant, and they just wanted everybody to say Omicron as many times as they could.
Right.
That was actually like a summoning spell for a group of reptilians that are that would best be described somewhere between pirate and mercenary. Like this is their toughest group, and they sent 4 battalions, and our team took down 1. So I think we did our job, but they were basically ineffectual on the Omicron variant. The Omicron story fizzled out pretty quickly. But they do call for reinforcements, and they've been calling for reinforcements for a while, but it's gotten to the point where nobody will come here anymore because they're doomed.
Yeah.
So I wonder who they have. And I think
It
I actually did come across another being this morning that I'd never met before. I thought I'd met them all, but you know, this one I'll talk about off air. Actually, we might have some. You might be right. You know, anyway, there's still some mystery hanging in the air about alcohol. I'd love to point the finger and go, we know what it is and we know what we're going to do about it, but I'm not feeling that.
No, I think it's very honest to say that you're in an exploratory process. You don't know everything, because saying that you know everything, I think, is a huge vulnerability. So it's very fair, very authentic to say that.
Yeah, look, I don't want to bluff my way through this.
Totally, yeah.
And you know, I'm not sure if I expected or hoped the result that drunks would just put down the bottle and that was it, but it didn't play out that way. So, you know, we'll keep doing whatever we do and see what happens next.
Yeah. Because alcohol is also so interwoven throughout, quote unquote, the entertainment and hospitality industry that, you know, if people really stopped drinking instantaneously, like there are many businesses that would falter. There are many things that would become completely obsolete.
Collapse.
Yeah.
The economy would collapse
Yeah.
Not just that, it's so much a part of human culture, you know, like I'm just thinking of like a family reunion, and it's like if we could just fast forward to that family reunion and I could just hang out and watch for a while, I think I'd have a better idea what's going on, but I don't.
People use
Or-
alcohol to get through difficult situations. So either they'd have to confront their emotional difficulties or not attend those situations.
Well, or just more, I don't think the alcohol is going to go away. So it's more as what is the effect of the alcohol having on people,
Yeah.
and just being able to observe it. But
I've got one more just kind of like spitballing kind of idea in terms of alcohol getting people more wasted than usual. You know, there is 5G biochemical frequency manipulation where they can beam a beam at you and it can make you feel silly or happy or drunk or sleepy. And I'm thinking maybe that can be messing with people's biochemistry even more than whatever physical substance they're taking.
Yeah, look, and they showed us that in a movie where I think it was a wannabe James Bond movie, and they set it on a church and everybody tore each other apart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that idea. Beaming. Beaming frequency or whatever.
Then do they need to include alcohol in the mix, or can they just zap you with joy or hatred at will? You know?
I think they can just zap you even with no substance. I do a lot of work with targeted individuals, and some of the stories that they share with me are about feeling like they are drugged and incapacitated when they haven't taken anything, or sometimes unusually stimulated when they haven't taken anything. And I think that something is beaming the frequency of an opioid at them or cocaine at them. And it might even change their actual blood chemistry, you know? Like, I think that it's borderline. With nanotechnology, what you're doing is exploring the borderline between matter and pure energy.
I totally agree. I think that
Yeah,
there's definitely some frequency, because I can always feel better if I'm away from it, always. So, but
and just as a side note, who do you like? All of the targeted individuals, like they're hearing a voice, there's a conversation going on, right? Now, AI doesn't need to talk to you to do all the things it wants to do, all right? So who would you suggest that person is, or persons?
Totally. So a good burglar hides. These are either fumbling burglars who aren't good or someone who's leaving breadcrumbs intentionally. I think the AI is prompting you like a prompt engineer. So when you're a prompt engineer, you go to the AI and type in on your keyboard, I want a picture of a cat on top of a rainbow, on top of a mushroom. Now do your thing. And what the AI is doing is selectively whispering into people's biochemistry, and they're mapping their brain and their language centers to be able to then stimulate certain words, certain images, and even sometimes senses like smells that you evoke a memory, and kind of are using that for targeted manipulation of your mind and emotional state.
So every time, so it'll say the word carrot to you 7 times just to see what parts of your brain are light up when you hear the word carrot.
Totally.
And but you know, there are lots more exciting emotive words than that.
Absolutely. And I'll go further. I don't think that there's a call center. I don't think that there's lettered agencies with people that have like their headsets and their microphones that they're whispering into their microphones, and everybody's got like, you know, a person that they're victimizing. I don't think it's like that. I think
that
it's
feels
really automated
as well.
Yeah, because everything that I've experienced has been very repetitive and automated. It doesn't feel like I'm playing against another player. It feels like playing like computer chess. Like every time I do this, this happens. That's not a person.
Thanks for the heads up. Yeah. All right. So that's the end of this conversation, I think.